My name's
Mhm.
Rebecca Abraxas. This is
I
Matt,
am Maxis.
and we do something called One Love Alignment Sunday podcast every first Sunday. So we like to start out with is just setting the intention, setting up the space, and then what we're going to do today for you all is tell you about the energies of June astrologically. And then Matt and I love to have like a
Mhm.
little conversation, metaphysical conversation about these energies and how they're going to challenge us, how they're going to help us rise, and how we can really stay in that one love alignment, that authentic self, regardless of what the energies are doing. So that's what that conversation's all about.
Mhm.
And then we're going to do some sound healing. We're going to reset the nervous system. Fresh start for June. So we're so glad you're here. Share it with some people and friends. And let's just build the numbers here. So glad you're here. We're focusing more over here on YT. If you have most of your questions, or most of the questions are going to be answered here. We're not ignoring you on these other two platforms. It's just we're trying to have a center of focus.
Yeah. So we have actually 3 going at once, but
Yeah.
we'll.
Be
But if
focusing here
yeah,
on you. Yeah, YT.
and if you
ITT.
want to join us on YT, just go to onelovealignment.com. No, don't need to go to there. Okay.
You can. Once you
Okay.
say that, though, this guy stops sharing.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah. Okay.
We're
All
teaching
right.
this guy all about
Sorry.
TikTok.
I don't do a lot of lives.
We're teaching this guy.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's get started, sweetie, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to set our intentions.
Hmm.
Okay. We're just setting our intentions for the highest good here as we commune in one love alignment, one love consciousness. We are anchoring the new earth into this reality, and we are stewards of that new earth. And this one love alignment Sunday is all about connecting with our authenticity, connecting in our wholeness and our love. And we ask for that energy to run the show here today. And let's see what happens. Amen. Aho.
Oh.
Let's go.
Okay.
All
So
right. You take it off with the June energies.
Let's talk about what is going on. So every month there is a whole bunch of things happening always at once. And I'm always intrigued by what is getting talked about in the astrology community. Right now, most of the excitement is about something that's coming up in a couple days, hitting on exact, I believe on June 9th, is the Venus-Jupiter conjunction in Cancer. Venus is the planet of, generally we refer to it as love, but it's really about like how you receive. It's what you're receiving. It's what are you in a space of receptivity? Are you ready to and so love is an obvious one with that, but so is money. So is it can be the also the planet that rules contracts, that rules agreements. Jupiter then is also a great benefic. It's the planet of, we generally think of it as abundance, as luck, but it's also the planet of faith and broad perspective. And so when both of them come together, there's really this moment of love and faith, or receptivity and abundance. And what a great moment to experience, receiving abundance, receiving good things. With that, though, there can be some troubles too. Sometimes it might turn into a little overabundance, like you can be overly generous. You can be maybe getting a little bit extravagant in your spending is a good example, something to be on the watch for. However, no matter what, June 9th, a lot of people are talking about this is a really pivotal moment for manifesting, to set your intentions for whatever it is that you're wanting more of. Now, I love all that, and I think that's a wonderful thing, and I will definitely be practicing my own intentions during that time. But the thing that's also happening right now that I am personally most intrigued by is something called a T-square. So
Hmm.
we have the North Node and South Node, and they're always in this play. They're always in a tug of war, always in an opposition. The North Node has been going through Pisces. The South Node has been going through Virgo. And in a couple months, they will finally shift signs. They lingered there sometimes for a couple years, and they are going to be lingering, moving retrograde and direct, and hanging out at about 1 to 0 degree in Virgo and Pisces for the next 2 months. Now, while they're there, we have Uranus, and I'll explain more of what all these things mean, but Uranus is forming a T-square between them. So we have, to see the visual, I think very visually, North Node, South Node, Uranus coming up here, causing a T-square. And what this means is this is a strong point of friction. Perfect. Yeah. Strong point of friction, or like a pivotal crossroads to the decision between what is happening. South Node, which is where we're coming from, which is our comfort zone, to the North Node, which may be uncomfortable, but it's where we're feeling pulled to.
Is that called kind of like your soul calling usually, or your?
It's your soul calling in your own natal chart.
Okay, yeah.
But we also have it happen. So we all have this in your own birth chart, and wherever your North Node sits, that's your personal soul calling. But when it's happening in the sky in current, the current sky, this is where we're all feeling a general pull. The whole, all of the world is feeling this a little bit. And what we're feeling is this familiarity of Virgo energies, which is being analytical, being serious about the work that needs to be done, being of service. Virgo is the maiden. It's the sign or the influence of doing the daily chores. It's the organized sign. It's the sign of and doesn't, not all Virgos are organized, and not all Virgos are anal retentive or anything like that. Those are cliches, but there is that general energy. We're feeling that familiarity, and we're feeling a tug toward just the opposite of that, letting go of it all, going with the flow, surrendering, feeling maybe more sensitive, but also more trusting. And that's all Pisces. And that's where we're feeling this pull.
I love this so much because it kind of goes with this new earth, right?
Mhm.
This theme of grand rising. Collectively,
Mhm.
we're going from that south node
Yeah.
to the north node collectively, right?
Mhm.
Like we're going to get into our flow, we're going to get into our authenticity,
Right.
and we're doing it as a very large unit,
Yeah.
not just personally, like you said. I
Right.
love that. It just goes to show that the astrology is showing the grand rising.
It's totally showing
Yeah.
that. It's showing like yeah, there is like this awakening that has been going on.
Yeah.
And just in this note, I mean, obviously there's some other placements. Pluto and Aquarius is a major one that's been hitting, and will be continuing to hit for the next couple of decades. But this piece right now of the South Node to North Node, and that it's lingering at this 0 1 degree, is so intriguing to me, because it's just lingering right at that little beginning point. The nodes actually work in opposite. They count down, whereas all the other signs count upwards. So when the North Node finally shifts, it will shift from Pisces 0 degree into Aquarius, 29 degrees and 29 minutes. In any case,
Question.
yes.
Which sign, maybe sun sign or top 3 signs, would be having the hardest time with a south node, north node T?
So Anyone in Gemini or Sagittarius is feeling the tensions between these two, this nodal axis. And if that's your sun sign or your rising sign, so our son's a Gemini rising, he's been feeling some of this. But it can be other things too. It could be your sun. It could be, there's a thing called your dispositor, which means all planets sometimes reduce down to another planet. It might be your chart ruler, which is something that is often overlooked, and it really should be part of. It should be the big four: your rising, your sun, your moon, and your chart ruler. These are like really essential placements. However, without getting too complicated, if you haven't really looked at a chart too much, then just think of your sun, your moon, or your rising. If one of those is Gemini or Sagittarius, you're feeling this crossroads. If one of them is Virgo or Pisces, you're also going to be feeling this, but in a different way. One of the nodes will be fused or conjunct your placement. So if you're a Virgo sun, like our other sun is a Virgo sun, he could be feeling these south nodes, these old familiarities, just sort of hovering over his sun. He might be feeling something like maybe drawn to the past a little bit, maybe feeling a little bit of a struggle with wanting to move forward, and feeling like at the same time, a calling. Because if his sun is in Virgo, or if your sun is in Virgo, and you're feeling this tug. However, I want to get more into what is happening, and it's going exact on June 12th, but it's really going to be happening the full first half of this month. It's when Uranus has gone into Gemini fairly recently. Okay. And it moves slowly. So it is staying at, right now, I think it's at 2 degrees. Or 1 degree. I'm not totally sure. It doesn't matter, but it's in these early degrees, and it's forming this T-square with the nodes. Uranus represents the like a core individuality. And Rebecca and I were talking about this earlier, and thinking like, well, does that mean like being your pure individual self, or what does that mean? Like, can that mean, as she brought up, like, could that be like your sense of ego? And I was thinking about it more. I was like, it's what it really is like your nonconformist self. It's the part of you that doesn't, it's actually anti-ego, anti-anything. It's just wanting to be purely you, regardless of your culture, your family, or your religion, or whatever it is. So when that sign is in the sky right now, in a tension between these nodes, it means that for the next couple of weeks, we are in a pivotal moment where there is a feeling of individuality, nonconformity that we're all feeling, is driving a kind of a wedge, instigating a major choice between the old familiar and the uncomfortable future.
Major choice between the
familiar or the comfortable, between the uncomfortable dream.
Okay.
That's the main thing. The uncomfortable dream, the trusting in your path, has a level of discomfort to it.
I want to go into this because this is really a cool topic, but can you answer this question? How do you find your ruler determined?
Depends on your rising sign. So every sign is ruled by a planet. So I'm an Aries rising, so that is ruled by Mars. And so Mars is my chart ruler. Rebecca is a Libra rising. That's ruled by Venus. So Venus is her chart ruler.
Okay, so this is how you would find your chart ruler. This is how you determine your chart ruler.
And you just look up what are the ruling planets. And some astrologers go by the modern rulership. So that would mean Scorpio. In traditionally, it was ruled by Mars. Modern, it's ruled by Pluto. It's fine to look at both. I think sometimes going at the traditional way gives you more helps you understand more about who you are. From what as I've been researching this more and looking at other people's chart rulers, whenever someone's a Scorpio, Pisces, Aquarius, a few of these have multiple rulerships. So just go by traditional, or if the modern one works with you, just use that.
Okay, awesome. I want to get back to the Uranus in Gemini and this idea of going from our comfortable self to our uncomfortable dream. And this word dream kind of gets to me, because a lot of times we see this world in front of us as reality, and then our dream as something out here. But really, it's like in metaphysics, it's the opposite. This reality that we think's in front of us, that's the dream. And when this Uranus in Gemini is asking us to get out of our comfort zone and go to our discomfort toward our dream, what it's asking of us is to let go of the separation, all that separation that we say, this is mine, this is yours, you're this way, you're on this pedestal, you're in this class or that class, and all that kind of stuff. We're letting that go. We're letting all the form and structure go. That's what's comfortable to us, is form and structure.
Totally.
So when we get into dream, which is really truly in metaphysics, is true reality.
Exactly.
So what this astrology is asking us to do is to live from the true metaphysical reality of your true self. It's true north, true self. And that's what we're talking about here. One love. One love alignment. But it's super uncomfortable, because it's like saying unhook from the matrix, unhook from all that, the rules and the structure. And it doesn't mean go, crazy and be a rule breaker. It just means that your heart is calling. It's asking you to go over to that north node area. Your soul and heart are like, psst, the grand rising's here. Come into the true reality, and it'll be comfortable letting go, but it is worth it. And this is while we are evolving. So I just wanted to
totally. And and here's this extra thing. If we're still following along with this, and this is where I should make stronger posts about this to get this information out, because I don't hear anybody else talking about this yet. Uranus right now, again, so Uranus represents the kind of the rule breaker, the sudden changes, the finding your true individuality, the non-conformity. That is Uranus in the sky right now, just moved into Gemini, the sign of communication. So all of this rule breaking individuality is moving through the theme of communication. But here's the thing. On either side of Uranus right now are two what they call minor bodies, Ceres and Sedna. Ceres is self-care, nurturing, taking pure care of the self. Sedna is spirituality or spiritual destiny, let's call it. And I find it so interesting that at a moment that Uranus is in this creating a crossroads between Virgo and Pisces, that it's also at the same time joined forces by Ceres and Sedna, which just adds more to this, that this is all about an awakening, about what is taking care of you. Are you feeling nourished? And are you feeling your own spiritual awakening, your own destiny to your soul? It was something that I've been aware of, this T-square for I guess the last month. I've been kind of watching this, but just this morning, it struck me as I was looking at some of the little minor bodies. I thought, Sedna and Ceres, they don't pay a lot of attention to them usually, but the fact that they're sitting on either side within a degree of Uranus, and that they are helping this crossroad moment of where we're feeling this pivot And what I feel like this is saying is that regardless, no matter what, whether you feel like you want to, okay, what I think this is doing is that it's presenting a choice to you at some point within this next couple of weeks. You are going to be presented something, whether life throws it at you uncomfortably or whether you have been feeling it already. You're feeling some kind of a choice to move from what has been comfortable, what has been familiar in Virgo themes versus the Pisces themes of surrender and trust. And so you're feeling this choice. And if you decide when something presents to you and you say, I think I just need to go back to what's familiar. I need to go back to the maybe being more analytical or being more organized and just holding to my daily chores, the Virgo energies. It's okay, because Uranus being surrounded by Sedna and Ceres, being surrounded by nourishment and spiritual destiny, it's almost saying like either choice, you're going to be okay. But what you're feeling the pull to is the awakening and the trust. It's just knowing that that trust, that surrender is going to come with a certain level of discomfort. It's going to feel a little awkward, and often surrender and trust totally is. To me, it's like sometimes I'm like, yeah, just surrender, let it go. And then when it comes right down to it, I think, ooh, no, let's like study the marketing data or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and it's really gets uncomfortable.
Someone said, so why am I feeling so much fight or flight? So our nervous systems sometimes don't feel safe when we're uncomfortable. It might trigger us into a time in our past that we haven't resolved where, this type of discomfort resulted in like a negative outcome. And so whenever you're in fight or flight, you're stressed. You're living from cortisol or adrenaline. Your nervous system is heightened. And it can get better, which today we're going to do at the end a sound bath to help reset that fight or flight. The crystal bowls are really good at that. But whenever we have this kind of change, and the change involves an unhooking from what you know as reality the most, it's going to get your nervous system a little, you're going to be working from the sympathetic, it's going to get a little cortisol burst. But how do you handle that? So one is you can ask, go into some inner child work. You can do sound healing, breath work, meditation. When you feel that fight or flight, you can breathe, release, and let go. And whatever tools you can do that to do that, right? So I like to do sounding, humming, and sounding is really good to bring in the parasympathetic part of the nervous system. Parasympathetic calms you down, calms that sympathetic part of the nervous system. So it calms that sympathetic, so the parasympathetic can activate. And so that's what sound therapy does. So hum or do a little sound, and the vagus nerves becomes toned, and the rest of the nervous system drops into calm. And then you release that stress, and you let go of the past and let yourself be right here, right now. A lot of times fight or flight is worry about the future or a trigger from the past, and neither one of them allow you to be right here, right now. And so breathe or sound, release, and let go.
And I think that a lot of people may be feeling this in certain moments, with this transit. And that's not even going into how it might be affecting it. Whoever's feeling that might be, one of these planets might be hitting right on your Mars, and that's just creating like a drive and a need to do something right away. But regardless, it could be hitting everybody in a certain way of feeling like I have to make a decision, I have to do something. And And again, I want to say, like with Uranus surrounded by Ceres and Sedna, those are two influences that are saying you the drive to make a choice, whatever you're feeling, is also surrounded by a sense of personal nourishment and a sense of spiritual destiny. And it's such a beautiful little whatever you want to call it, little composite of all this stuff coming together. Um, and then shortly after, or just before, or as this is happening, we have this, Venus Jupiter thing. They're joining up forces, and then just after this Uranus T square, we have a new moon in Gemini. It's all these energies happening within this week, and it really feeds into the rest of the month, which is all about getting clear, feeling as you're saying, like feeling just, if you're feeling fight or flight, doing things to feel, what would you say, like a calmness or a resonance or.
Yeah, like the sound healing. But my friend Annie here says movement, dance is so great to help the nervous system as well. Shaking, just a shaky type of dance, really good to reset. So just take care of your nervous system right now. Because I mean, that's to be said every month we're here, because the grand rising is here. We're all on this awakening journey, and it can be wobbly. It can be wobbly, and it's so fun now tracking the astrology of the grand rising, because it just keeps building and keeps validating the quickening all of us are feeling. Don't you think? It's
Totally.
like you just keep, and next month, what is the great basket? We'll talk about next month, but it's like there's so much happening, and it gives us so much, there's so much reason for us all to feel this quickening, and when we're doing it together, and it's fun doing it together, because we don't feel like we're crazy. Back some 10 years ago, when I was having some awakening or ascension symptoms, I really thought I was going crazy, like depression, the sleeplessness, the ego deaths. They could be very difficult. And now more and more people are coming online to this stuff, and we're here together, and we can support each other through these hard times, which a lot of us weren't talking about like 10 years ago, right?
Yeah. And if it's, so I have a tool that I've just built called the Manifestation Blueprint, and it takes you plug in your birth date, it pulls up your astrology chart, your numerology, and your human design. And with the whole idea of it is that it's about identifying your core system to help you understand how your nervous system works. It also helps you address potential blocks that might be coming up for you. And so if anyone wants to see or wants to test that out, just message me. I guess I can't say the website.
No.
Yeah, I shouldn't say the website. So maybe I'll write it down.
We'll put it
and
right
put
here.
it up.
We'll put it in the comments.
Yeah.
I'll put it in the comments. Keep talking.
Okay.
What's it called again?
BeYourOwn.guru.
Oh, there's okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys. If you want to check it out and be part of our beta group.
Yeah. Yeah, that would give you the dot.
Be your own
dot guru. And that's just the website there.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I think what this month is sort of setting up is for the major changes that are coming up in July. What Rebecca was bringing up, I think you call it the Bobalt basket. I think it was a French astrologer from about 100 years ago or something like that, that I had identified this moment coming up that peaks on July 20th or something, July 21st, but it really goes through the latter half of July. And it's what looks like, 2026 is just a major year of, I feel like it's it's what maybe like the Mayan calendar pointed to. Like it's what I think a lot of cultures have looked at a certain point around this time where it looks like humanity shifts. And I think that's what we're going through. I think we're going through a time where everything is starting to flip. And astrologically, you can just map it all out.
Yeah.
And so this month is a, as far as the transits go, there's not a lot of harsh ones. We have a Mercury retrograde at the end of the month, and it can have some of its own little challenges when Mars goes into Gemini as well. That all happens right at the end of the month. Jupiter moves into Leo, which can be really great things, also can have its own challenges. But I almost feel like I feel like that those transits aren't really important to talk about, at least in this conversation, because what really is happening here is this Uranus square and the decision point, the point of what is being asked of all of us.
Can I, the theme that came up when we were talking about the theme is like, choice and boundaries. And I feel like intuitively what June's really asking of us with this choice and boundaries is like really to step up your awareness, because we only need to use boundaries when our awareness is low. And I'm going to give you an example. I had a family member that just is going through some different stuff. And I had an awareness that maybe I should take a little space, not like boundary, not going to see them, this and that, but more like, it just doesn't feel like a lot of there. It feels like there's going to be some past tension come up. And I had that awareness. And at one point I went past that awareness and engaged. And guess what came up? Past tensions, that now have to turn into a little bit more of a boundary. And so with these choices of them, we're unhooking from form and structure, and we have a choice to step into more of our soul self, or one love self, rather than our ego or pain body self. Feel like really tune in. Like feel the energetics of the community you want to go spend time with, or the person you want to spend time with. Be aware. Like, are they living in a soft flowing place? And if they if they feel like it contract, or there's just feels like, ooh, there's tension there. There's no reason. It has nothing to do with me, but there's tension there. We might not just want to walk into the tornado, just would you be willing to follow your own awareness? Because if not, those choices then have to be cut off with stronger boundaries that kind of give up our awareness, right? So it's just like boundaries saying like, okay, we are not going to go see this person for 6 months because they are toxic or something like that. But are they just having a bad transit day? Or are they, what I mean? So like when we say, I'm not going to, and we extricate someone out of our lives for like, say, a certain amount of time, then we shut down our awareness for whatever time that is, like say that's 6 months. Instead of all we have to do is follow our awareness. But sometimes, and the astrology sometimes for different people, for different charts is set up to follow that awareness and not follow awareness. I would think.
Totally.
Does it say it in your own chart? It's like, this is a day you're going to really, your awareness is going to, and your intuition is going to be really broad. Like it's going to come online and you're going to trust it. And then there's other times in people's charts where it's going to be like, I wasn't aware. Or if you think about it, you're like, oh, I kind of had that hit, but I went into it anyway. And so my call to you is pause. Pause in June. See what those choices are, where your soul is calling you to. And then see if you can really use your awareness and intuition to make choice of who you're going to spend time with each day. What communities, what people, what family members, and not getting into the right or the wrong or the good or bad or anything. Just get out of the judgment around it. just follow the awareness. For some reason, these 2 weeks, I haven't felt called to, I just feel like there's tension there. There's no reality reason, but there just seems some tension there. I don't think I'm going to partake because I tend to go past that awareness out of obligation or people pleasing, which I'm healing. But whenever I go into, thanks, Nancy, appreciate that. Every time I go past the, past the awareness into obligation and people pleasing, it usually doesn't go that well. There's usually some drama I'm cleaning up after all that. Have you noticed?
Yeah. And so, again, I mean, I don't know if anyone else is feeling something there, because one of the qualities of Virgo is, I don't want to like put shade on Virgo at all. Virgo has every sign has so many amazing strengths and has its shadow sides. But a shadow side of Virgo is to be the martyr, to play the martyr. And what that can sometimes mean is that you are, it can come out like people pleasing. It can come out like trying to do too much for others, regardless of what you may really need to do for yourself. Being a martyr, and think of so many ways we can play out a martyr. It's being overly of service, being of service to the point that you're losing your, and this is interesting. Okay, I'm gonna say losing sense of self, but then I also want to think about that from a perspective of the positive. I mean, I also think I like to lose sense of self. I like to lose sense of ego, but you also don't want to lose sense of your own pure nature.
That's a really good point, because a lot of times in metaphysics, we say, I'm just going to let go of the self.
Yeah.
And if we let go of the self, we're kind of like in an abyss, like cosmic kind of like unproductive bliss. And so I think what you're saying is very much true. Like we let go of the ego self, but hold firm to the one love alignment self, the authentic heart, the source self. Because being in the abyss with no self kind of has its own challenges, right? So just there's the small self, small s self, and the capital S self. We never want to give away the capital S self.
And it's interesting because, thinking of what that capital S self is, that is the self that is connected to all.
Yeah.
That is the self that is like if Jesus says, I'm the Son of God, I am, or a Son of God, I am of essence of God. That is self. I am essence of the universe. I am of the essence of the one love consciousness. That is knowing that you are that. That is, I believe, the true self, versus an egoic self that feels like you're upset because whatever, someone said something to you, or you don't look the way you want to look that day, or whatever it is.
This is an interesting comment. And he says, when we lose the lowercase self, we lose the part of us, which is creator.
Very true.
I don't know about that.
We also lose the part of us, which is when we lose the self, we lose the part of us, which is creator. Yeah. So I don't know if that's specifically saying lowercase self. But
okay.
This is just all written lowercase.
Right, yeah. The lowercase self would be the ego wanting, right? And so earlier in the astrology part, you were saying something around like there's going to be a lot of manifesting this June, but we have to get into the energy of being what we want to manifest to actualize what we want to manifest. But then there's this huge thing with manifesting. Is it the small s self, like the ego, or the pain body, the wounded ego manifesting? Or is it the capital S self, us as creator?
Yeah.
So Usually, when we're asking from our pain body self, we think something's going to work out. We think it's going to make us happy. Whereas when we're acting from our capital S self, our source self, we know ultimately that the peace of our soul and our connection with one another from a loving whole space is really the only source of our joy. And when we want to create from there. But what's funny is that like anything in the outside world wouldn't be really creating.
Yeah, right. I know it's a bizarre
it's a
thing.
little conundrum.
I mean, thinking of what is the concept is, you don't get what you want, you get what you are.
Yeah.
Right. And I like that idea, except that now do you start trying to change who you are based on your egoic desires, or based on and it's okay to want a yacht, and for whatever purpose. I mean, if it's just to hang out on and party, that's fine. There's nothing inherently wrong with that.
But it's more like, has the thought to want to live something come from this divine order, or has it come from the separated pain body self?
Yeah.
Right.
I
think that's a really good question.
And the what that does then is it affects the outcome. And that's why you hear people say, like, I got all this great stuff and I'm still unhappy, because they were wanting from a space that is a part of their self that was already unhappy. It wasn't their full true nature.
Oh, right. And the universe doesn't judge. So it matches vibration with vibration. So yeah, have the great car. And you became the energy of the great car. So have the great car, but didn't make you happy. The depth of happiness that you thought it would, because only something that's created from your God self will do that. Will give you that complete infinite joy. And yeah, any questions about that?
Yeah, I like a couple of things I'm reading here. Yeah. Releasing control of outcome, releasing control of outcome while also stepping into choice. When we don't trust the niggle, we may still learn from the bumpy path. That's yeah, totally. That is, and I think that is like a big aspect of what we're going to be going through. I think we'll all be feeling these things coming up that will be pushing a little bit if you aren't taking, or if you're not making some choices for yourself, for your highest good, for your the path that we're all feeling drawn toward. Life may start presenting it in a little bit more uncomfortable ways.
Yeah. Guys, if you want to dive deeper in this with your own personal chart, there's a few ways to do that. Matt will take on about 10 astrology clients this month. And we also have something called harmonic healing maps, which we get to look at different areas of your astrology map, where some of those blocks are. And then I make you a custom sound healing so that you get just the right frequencies to start opening you up for this manifestation portal. So guys, if you're interested in that, it's called the harmonic healing map, and that can be found in my bio. And I'll put it right here as well. And if you're interested in a session with Matt, just to go over your personal chart and just with questions, whatever, he has different ways of working that. Just put it in the comments that you want that. And lastly, we go live with this every first Sunday. So come back, and we are going to get into the sound bath in just a few minutes.
Answer this here.
Yeah. Do you work with people who can channel energy? I had an awakening and started channeling other people, but not sure about if that's bad karma. Interesting. I could actually work with that. I have something called awakened voice sessions that are my sessions that I work with people on stuff like this, on awakening things. And sometimes we use the voice. I sometimes use my voice. But that's a really good question. And there's some boundaries that you need to have energetically. for what you're doing. If not, you're going to get clobbered by the astral realm. So, yeah, feel free. I'll put some of the links right here. But we're gonna any other questions? Wait, the self which sees itself as separate is the self which is divided in purpose. It can only serve what it senses. I think this is what we call the small self. The self in which sees itself. Okay, I'm reading this here, guys. The self which sees itself as separate.
I got it. The self which sees itself as separate is the self which is divided in purpose. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think, well, I mean, the self that sees itself is that version of ourselves that is the witness. I don't know if that's what you're totally meaning, but that self that is divided in purpose, that it can only serve what it senses. Absolutely. That's, I totally agree with that. I think that's what we can call the small self, this idea of, I'll bring it back to the astrologically. So when we look at a chart, you can see the, someone's sun sign is, it can just be the ego. It can be the dark, the sort of shadow side of the sun. In astrology is egoic tendencies. Usually the sun is, the great illuminator. It's what reveals our highest motivations or general or strongest pull toward one's own identity. But it can also, on another side, just be the ego. And it's interesting to look at the charts and look at people and see sometimes where is someone being more just their egoic self, whether they're being more pulled toward some concept of who they are. Oh, you're pulling that up. Okay. And anyways, so okay, you can do that. Sorry, we're getting
just keep
some tech help stuff there. Your shadow is misery.
Miserly.
Miserly. Okay. Okay.
Sorry, guys. I have a
You
bad
okay? You sure do.
Annie, I think you're right on with that. The only thing I would add is that there's this this point that we wake up that shows that we're separate. But we're separate from the story that we created, that we are separate and that we are wounded and that, the pain body thing. But when we wake up, we can start to see the two. And then we come back and we become one again with it. That makes sense. It's like you keep going up a mountain and these perceptions get clearer and have different points of view. So before we're awake, we just feel like I'm just Rebecca. I'm just me and my thoughts and my wounds and my family and this and that. And when we wake up and we go up the mountain one more time, we see all those things that are Rebecca from a different angle. And then we see the bird's eye view. Oh, but I'm a soul. I'm a field of energy. Oh, I'm in this. So as we awaken, we see the separate selves that we thought we were, but then we also see the oneness that it all is. And we have to come to that moment of awakening to peel away to see it separate. But then as we get up higher on the mountaintop, we see all of it's the same in the one. That's how I see it. Mm-hmm. I see it like an expanding sun roll out in all directions. I love that too. Mm-hmm. I love that. Mm-hmm. Awesome, guys. I really apologize for my coughing. I'm going through something. It's all of a sudden I'll get one little tickle and then it's off to the races there. Okay, I have one more thing I want to put We just have some offers here if you guys want to check them out. And then there's, you'll just have to put your names in the comments and Matt will take them down with your email if you want like individualized. And then one other thing. Oops. Okay, so you guys can start to get ready for the sound bath and any like fight or flight that you're going through. This is going to help that. We're going to do the crystal bowls. I have the F bowl for the heart center. All right, let me just get to this one thing. Okay, last thing we'll do here. All right, this is for the one that was talking about being a channel. All right, guys.
Okay, I'm going to step down for
one
this.
second.
What?
Say goodbye.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll come back on and say.
Okay, he's
say
going to
bye
go
at the very end.
He's
but
going to
yeah.
go lie down and enjoy the sound bath.
So yeah, for anyone who has just joined on right now, we are going to go into Rebecca's going to do a sound bath. So because I know over here I'm seeing a lot of people kind of coming and going. So this is going to be a sound bath time to integrate everything for the rest of this month. All the big stuff that's coming, the big choices that are getting presented to us. So okay.
Okay, have fun. Okay, guys. So we've got 2 bowls here. All right. See if I can pull this off. So find a nice comfortable place to sit or lie down. Give yourself this next like 10, 15 minutes to let the nervous system calm down. Let the brain slow down. Annie, yes, thank you very much. And just allow yourself to receive. Come into receiving mode. Come into receiving mode. That's it. Beautiful. Beautiful.
I don't know how to close it the way you do, but
Just ending in meditation.
okay.
All right, beautiful beings. Just take a deep breath in. Let it all out. Remember your one love alignment. Remind your nervous system all month long that you are this one love, connected to everyone and everything. We're on this journey of flow, coming into that divine feminine, choosing for love. That is your true north. Thank you so much for joining us today. We will be back again the first Sunday of the month. Mark it on your calendars. And we are here for you for the rest of the month. We are here for you. If you need extra guidance with astrology or sound or just spiritual direction with your awakening, we're here for you. We're here for you over here on Being Sung and One Love Astrology, and one here with One Love Alignment. Thank you so much. See you next time. Oops.